Today we'll be covering an interesting topic. We'll be talking about two important postposition in Hindi, which is ka and ki. Ka, K-A, and ki, K-I, ka ki. Okay. Um, Jennifer, I'll be giving some examples on how to use ka and ki,
Okay.
and then you can do the same. And then people who are watching it, they can either write down in the comments if you have any questions or how to use them, or you can participate. Okay.
Okay.
So the first one again, just to repeat, the first post position is the first big difference between like Hindi and English. In this case, is like in Hindi, in English we have preposition,
Mhm.
right? This is in,
Mhm.
on, right?
Mhm.
But in Hindi, it's called postposition. So that's a big difference,
Right.
right? In English, you will say in class. In Hindi, you will say class में,
Mhm.
right? So the postposition in Hindi is coming right after the noun,
Right.
but in English, it's coming before the class. On table,
Mhm.
on time,
Mhm.
in the class,
Mhm.
right? Such in such. And what about in Spanish? What is the case with Spanish?
So Spanish is more like English. It comes before, not after.
It comes before.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Right. So first example in Hindi would be uh, to give you a very simple example. It'll be let's say if I use a noun called ladka,
Mhm.
right? So I'll say ladke ka bag,
Mhm.
right? A boy's bag. Or if I use my name, it'll be Ashu ka laptop. So laptop is considered masculine singular,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Ashu ka laptop.
Mhm.
Ashu ka bag, Ashu's bag,
Mhm.
right? One more example would be Ashu ka school. School is also masculine singular,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
What else? Can you think of some more example?
Okay. So maybe, and you can tell me if these are masculine or not.
Hmm?
Ashuka office,
Ashu ka office, very good, right? I mean, office is considered masculine singular.
or maybe Ashuka car.
Ashu, so that's an
Um,
interesting point.
mhm.
Car in Hindi, it's feminine singular. So it would be Ashu ki car.
Mhm.
And it's a very interesting topic, which nouns are considered masculine and which are considered feminine. There are some rules around it, and we'll be covering it in our upcoming session. But as of now, don't hesitate to use either of them,
Okay.
and the person will sort of like correct you who is talking to you in
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
What
So
is
what about Ashuka watch?
Ashu ki watch again? Watch,
Ashuki watch.
yeah. Watch is again in Hindi. All nouns you will put them in the category of masculine or feminine, right? Unlike English,
Right.
right? So Ashu ki watch.
Okay. One more. Ashuka house or Ashuka
Ashu ka
ghar?
ghar. Ashu ka ghar. Ghar is house, right? And ghar is also masculine singular.
Mhm.
So Ashu ka ghar. Ashu ka house.
One more.
One more.
Um, Ashuka phone.
Ashuka phone. Phone is again masculine singular, so Ashuka phone. So you see, it's very simple. The idea here is to not teach only two topics. The idea here is to tell you that just by using two simple postposition, ka and ki, you can make so many sentences, right? And I want you who are watching online to take a pause here and write down in the comments. It's okay if you're making mistake with like what is masculine, what is feminine. The idea is to try, right? Ashu's school, or Jennifer's school, or Jennifer's books, right? So let's talk about Jennifer's book.
Mhm.
Book is kitab, so it'll be Jennifer ki kitab or Jennifer ki book if it is
Because
one.
book is feminine, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Book is feminine, and we are talking about only one book,
Mhm. Okay.
right? What else can you think of more? So far we're talking about from a male point of view.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really determine, like the pronoun doesn't determine, what it's about the object we are talking about. So in this case, we are looking at the gender of book,
Mhm.
laptop,
Right.
school, all the objects that we have, rather than like the
Right.
subject,
Right.
right? So even let's say everything that we're talking about, Jennifer, she will be using the same thing.
Mhm.
So
So Jennifer ki sari.
Jennifer ki sari is feminine.
So now we know that watch is feminine. So
That's right.
Jennifer ki watch.
Jennifer ki watch. For people who are advanced, watch is a gadi
Mhm.
in Hindi.
Let me think of other feminine ones. What about juta? Is juta for shoes?
Shoes. Let's try it in English first.
Okay, so Jennifer ki shoes.
Jennifer. So if you're saying juta or shoe, it will be masculine singular. So Jennifer ka juta. However, in India there are some jutiya basically,
Right.
which are like
Right.
something like which women wear. So you can say Jennifer ki jutiya.
Mhm.
So those are like feminine.
Okay.
Mm.
What about Jennifer key, like a
Chabiya.
chabi?
Okay, key is chab. So that's feminine.
Okay.
So that
So
would be
Jennifer key chabi.
Jennifer ki chabi. hmm What else?
One more.
What about ornaments? Women wear a lot of
Yeah,
ornaments
like
in India.
jewelry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Jennifer key earring.
Earrings. Jennifer ki earrings.
I don't know how you say earring.
Um, well, it's still
We'll
difficult.
say
Yeah,
earrings.
yeah.
Or Jennifer key ring.
Jennifer ki ring.
Mhm.
Okay.
Jennifer key bracelet.
Jennifer. Okay, so bracelet is again tricky. It's a tricky thing. It's masculine.
Okay,
So it
it'll
would
be
be
Jennifer ka bracelet.
Jennifer ka bracelet. Very simple, right? I hope all of you agree with that. Now, this was just like our lesson part. Now we will see how we can use, ka and ki on a day-to-day conversation. We'll be using help of two pronouns, right? Uh, we'll be covering more pronouns in the upcoming classes. In this class, we'll be sticking with two pronouns, which is one is मैं, which is I. Second one is आप, which is you.
Okay.
But when you use ka with मैं, it's मेरा. So it's I plus ka, it's मेरा, मेरा. We're talking about something possession, like मेरा school, right? मेरा bag, मेरा laptop, something I possess. Right? Similarly, if you use ka with pronoun called aap, you're talking about aapka. Aapka. Say that with me. Aapka. Hmm?
Aapka.
Aapka. So again, so two pronouns, mera and then aapka. We'll also use some adjectives such as acha.
Okay.
Acha is good. And another one interrogative, how is kaisa or kaisi. Okay, so you will see, we'll just use our fundamental theme of this class is again ka and ki and how to use them on a day-to-day conversation, even with the limited knowledge of Hindi you may have, right? So, Jennifer, आपकी school कैसी है? So, you see, Jennifer with the name of my person, and then आपकी is your, school is our noun here, कैसी is how, and है is. आपकी school कैसी है?
So मेरी school अच्छी है.
मेरी स्कूल अच्छी है. So she said मेरी, which is mine. Okay, school अच्छी is good है. You can ask me the same question and we'll continue
So
the same.
Ashu ji,
Mhm.
आपकी school कैसी है?
मेरी स्कूल अच्छी है. Okay. Jennifer, आपकी friend कैसी है?
So Ashu, मेरी friend अच्छा मेरी friend अच्छा है.
अच्छी है. So
अच्छी
we'll
है.
see that because we are using ka and ki, it also has influence on the adjective. So acha becomes achhi. However, leave that part aside. We will be covering it in the later session.
So I'll ask you,
Yeah.
Ashu ji, आपकी friend कैसा है?
कैसी
कैसी है?
मेरी friend अच्छी है. Mhm. Um, however, if I'm asking you about a male friend, I'll say Jennifer, Amin कैसा है?
So Amin अच्छा है.
अच्छा है. So I asked कैसा, and there is no e on it. And then when she replied, she also said acha rather than achi, right? One more question. आपकी handwriting कैसी है?
मेरी handwriting खराब है.
खराब is bad. You're just kidding, huh? So you can ask.
Okay, so Ashu, आप handwriting is feminine.
Yeah.
आपकी handwriting कैसी है?
मेरी handwriting भी खराब है.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. What
One
else?
more. So Ashu, आपका computer कैसा है?
मेरा कंप्यूटर अच्छा है. Okay. आपका घर कैसा है?
So मेरा घर अच्छा है.
We can, so the whole point is like even when you're talking to a stranger or anyone you don't know, you can simply carry a conversation just by these postpositions. Imagine imagine a scenario: you're visiting a grocery store in India or a vegetable market in India, and you want to find out how such and such things are, right? You can simply ask the question, यह सब्जी is vegetable, कैसी है? How is this vegetable? Right? And more or less the guy will reply, yes, sabji achhi hai, right? Right. And similarly, if you're going to a shop owner like a sari shop, right, you can say yeh sari kaisi hai, and in this case you're using a pronoun yeh, which is this, sari kaisi hai, and the guy will reply yeh sari bahut achhi hai or achhi hai. How else, like, do you want to cite some scenarios where you will be using?
Yeah. If you were shopping for a computer,
Okay.
you could say, "ये computer अच्छा है,"
Mhm.
and the salesman would say, "हाँ, ये computer अच्छा है."
Oh, यह computer कैसा है, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, ये computer कैसा है? ये computer अच्छा है.
Hmm. What about if you're going to a shoe store and you're shopping for a shoe?
Right.
Hmm.
So you could say, "ये जूता कैसा है?"
यह जूता कैसा है, right? We'll find out more about how to negotiate for a particular price in the upcoming lessons, but let's just stick with that. And while we are discussing it, think of scenarios you would like to try, which will apply in your context, right? यह job कैसी है? Let's say you are trying to find out about, someone's profession, right? I mean, somebody's pilot, or somebody is a doctor, a surgeon, right? You are very curious about it, or somebody's a teacher at like such and such university, right? And you want to find out how is the job, right? I mean, and they can sometimes, and it's okay to use as of now. Let me see. Like, for example, you want to use some difficult words,
Right.
and you don't know the Hindi, word for those, right? Um, let's say Georgetown University का curriculum कैसा है, right? Let's say it's very intense, and you don't know how to say intense in Hindi, right? You can simply use, as a beginner or as an intermediate, you can simply use intense, which is completely fine, right? So I'll ask the question again. George Washington University का curriculum is like the course curriculum, कैसा है?
So George Washington का curriculum बहुत intense है.
Right? So even if you don't know the meaning of, like, intense, you can simply use that. Ask me some question and I'll give one more example of. And while you're learning the language, I believe initially it's okay to use some English words in it, as long your sentence construct is good, as long as you know that the formulation is correct, because we know a technique how to find out the meaning of a particular word, which we learned in the first class, right? I mean, we'll go over that. Like, same thing, you will say the formula for that is, intense को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? I'll repeat that again. Intense को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? Right? So you can ask the question in Hindi basically, and you can find out the Hindi word for a given word. Right? You can try a similar thing and ask me a Hindi word for any particular English word.
Okay. So say the formula one more time.
So the formula is, you will use the word you are trying to find out, such as clock. Right? Clock को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं?
So difficult को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं?
So she asked me, difficult को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? Difficult को हिंदी में मुश्किल कहते हैं. Mushkil, right? So you see, you simply found out the meaning of the word in Hindi itself, right? So now the same sentence that we started with, right? I mean, George Washington University का curriculum कैसा है? And you have to use the word मुश्किल.
Right. So George Washington का curriculum बहुत मुश्किल है. बहुत
मुश्किल is very difficult है. Very good, right? So very simple, and I hope you are all agreeing with that. I encourage you to write down the comments, and once again, like, if you want to ask questions during the class, you have to let me know in advance so I can send you a meeting invite. You will show up in the video on the bottom corner, and basically that way you can also participate during the class. There are certain requirements to attend the class. You have to be above 18 in order for you to attend the class, and also that's a Google requirement basically. And the other requirement is like you have to have a webcam and a good audio, microphone. So that will help you attend the class and ask questions during the class. Um, Once again, you can always ask as many questions as possible in the comments, and again, I welcome if you want to, you know, give a proposal or you give a suggestion on what we should be discussing in the upcoming class.
Yeah.
I'll be more than glad to cover those topics as well. Right. So just to repeat our class today, we went over two important postposition, ka and ki. Right. In English, you'll be saying Ron's son, Jennifer's friend, uh, Miss Ron's daughter, and such, right? In Hindi, it would be Ron ka ladka. Ladka is masculine singular. Ron ki ladki. Ladki is feminine singular, right? So it depends upon the object, the gender of the object, ladka and ladki. Jennifer will give an example in Spanish also, so that way the Spanish speaker people could also relate to that, how it works in Spanish.
Yeah, so in Spanish you would say el amigo de Ashu, the friend of Ashu. So like in Hindi, el amigo has a gender, it's masculine, whereas in English we don't really have genders for words. Or you would say la amiga de Ashu, which would mean Ashu's female friend.
Okay, so amiga
is female,
okay,
and amigo is male.
Okay.
Yeah.
So similar to
Hindi. Yeah.
Okay. So we use those two important postpositions, ka and ki, and how to use them on a day-to-day conversation, right? With the help of a uh, simple interrogatives and adjectives, right? Such as "Aapka school kaisa hai?" and your response was
Mera school acha hai.
okay. So "Aapka" is your and "Mera" is mine, the possession. And towards the end, we also discussed one more thing, which is how to find out a meaning of a given word, right? And what is the Hindi word of a given word, right? And you can use, your own native language also, right? So, for example, your friend knows your native language and Hindi, and you want to find out the Hindi word for it. You can use this formula, which is um, dash ko. Dash is like whichever thing you are interested in. को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं, right? Table को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं, and your response would be
so Hindi में, or maybe I'm flipping it. So Hindi में table को मेज है.
मेज कहते हैं.
मेज कहते हैं.
Okay. You can also ask me.
I'll ask you one. So glasses को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं?
You mean glasses?
हाँ, yeah, glasses, yeah.
So glasses को हिंदी में चश्मा कहते हैं. Okay, good. Right. Thank you so much for everyone for connecting to the Hindi University class. As you may know, we are meeting now every Sunday at 10 a.m. US Eastern Time. I'll be very